Someone actually boldly approached me the last time and asked me how many times I have sex in a day, or like when was the last time I had sex, because as an individual we need that energy so that, like, you know, we can work well. Like if your mind is down and everything, like you need it. And I'm like, then go and marry. And so maybe you have seen a lot, you have tasted a lot and all that, and you know how it's supposed to be or how you want it to be. The fact that your partner cannot give you that, especially the women, people were actually like calling their husbands useless or making them feel as though they were less of men because they couldn't satisfy them the way they have been satisfied before. You have to speak up and let them help you, like help them now to help you, because mind you, they think they are doing their best. Have you ever had consummate your marriage? Yeah, they mean go and have sex to seal it. It is important for us to know to every action there is an opposite and equal reaction. I'm not even the one that said it, it was a scientist that said it. You there, you're so dear, priceless. You there. Well. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Relationship Therapy with me, Rafi Truth, your host, your hostess, whatever you want to call me. So, as I always say, our topic is very interesting, right? I think today's one is also very interesting. Why? Because we're talking about sex. Yeah, sex. Sex. Okay, so over the weeks we're going to look at a few topics and this, you know, bold statements. I mean, I'm saying bold because people actually shy away from talking about it, right? So I'm going to list the topics that we're going to look at. So today we're going to look at whether we have given sex too much power over our relationship or not, right? Then we have, is sex outside marriage wrong? That I can already give you the answer, yes. Okay, but let's continue. It's not for today. Then, can I get married because I want to have sex? Are you guys ready for what is gonna come under this topic? Okay, why is sex important? I think today probably we're gonna touch on it a bit, but let's look. And the last one is going to be why you shouldn't rush into having sex, right? Okay, so we're going to dive right into it because we want it to be quick so that we get everybody watching to the end, because the information is important, right? Okay, so let's move on. Let's look at some passage from 1 Corinthians 7. It is good for a man not to have sexual relations with a woman, but because of the temptation to sexual immorality, each man should have his own wife and each woman her own husband. Now the husband should give to his wife her conjugal rights, and likewise the wife to her husband. I think I even mentioned this last week because we lack self-control. We need to get this over and, you know, done with. That is why it's important for us to look at the fact that, yes, sex is important. Now, today we're here to talk about the power of sex in marriage. Not that I said marriage. I don't like people that just, like, you know, misconstrue people's sentences and say that I ain't in a relationship. Not just any relationship or marriage. Okay. How have we given power to sex? Is it really true? Have we given power to sex? Okay, now let's see. The perception of sex and its influence vary greatly among individuals and culture. It is true. You know, some of us from where we come from, people even find it difficult to mention the word sex or to say that they're going to have sex, right? Okay, let's continue. Many argue that sex holds significant power in areas like relationships and identity, often because of its association with intimacy, desire, religion, and even societal norms. So on the other hand, some believe that sex should be normalized and not overemphasized, and they view it as a natural part of human life rather than something that defines self-worth or social status. Now, looking at both of them, everybody have their reason for, you know, saying what they're saying, right? Which I understand, and I actually equally agree that sex should not be given too much power as in the basis on which everything stands. But wait, we're gonna go into it, right? Just hold on, calm down for me. Anyways, but I don't believe that it should be normalized either. Normalized, I mean outside of marriage. Okay, let's continue. So ultimately, people believe that whether we've given sex too much power or not is subjective, and it depends on personal beliefs and experiences. But what do I believe? I believe that it is beneficial to reflect on how sex impacts your own life and the values you hold on it, right? In your relationship, the power of sex can significantly affect the dynamics, the intimacy, and the emotional connection between you guys. So some people feel that sex carries too much weight, leading to expectations and pressures that can overshadow other important matters in their marriage. But it shouldn't be so. And other important aspects are communication, I wrote down, and trust. So this can create imbalances, where partners may feel obligated or inadequate if they can't meet the standards of their partner. But conversely, sex can also be a vital part of expressing love and intimacy. There is a reason why God instituted sex in marriage. If it was not important, he wouldn't have put it in there. So I want us to look at general importance or key aspects of sex in marriage, okay, in our relationship. So sex is multifaceted and it can vary significantly from one partnership to the other, which is very true. So looking at the importance, we have intimacy and connection, we have physical expression of love, we have communication. Yes, it can actually help with communication. We have reinforcement of commitment. Exactly. We have recreation and enjoyment. We have stress relief and well-being. We have procreation and family building. Then we have bonding hormones, which is true. We mentioned this last week. Oxytocin, right? Communication and mutual understanding are key to ensuring that both partners' needs and desires are met. So now let's look at what the Bible says. I think in the Bible, sex is portrayed as a significant aspect of human life. And this encompasses the spiritual, emotional, physical dimensions and all that, right? So we're going to look at some of the key points that sex is put under when it comes to the Bible. So we're looking at divine design. Why this? So it makes us understand that sex is viewed as part of God's creation, and it was intended for the union of a husband and a wife. If you're wondering if I'm reading to you, yes, because I wrote down my notes. Let's continue. So sex is intended for the union of husband and wife, and in Genesis 2:24 we clearly get that. So it says that therefore a man shall leave his father and mother and hold fast to his wife. Other version says cleave to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. Now this reflects the deep bond and intimacy that is intended in marriage, and sex is actually something that creates that in marriages, right? So number 2, sex was meant for procreation according to the Bible. So now one of the functions of sex is to enable procreation. So in Genesis 1:28, God commands Adam and Eve to be fruitful and multiply. Now this emphasizes the role of sex in the continuation of humanity, so building family, right? Number 3, we have marriage covenant. Sex is also an integral part of the marital covenant. I mean, yes, we understand. Have you ever heard consummate your marriage? Yeah, they mean go and have sex to seal it. In 1 Corinthians 7:3-5, Paul emphasizes that spouses fulfill their marital duties to one another, and it highlights the importance of mutual consent and affection, in sexual relations within marriage. So it says that husband, your body is for the wife, your body is for the husband, and it emphasizes that you should not deprive them of your body because it's not yours. And it goes further to say that the only time you can do that is if both of you have consented to devote yourselves to prayer for a period of time, and after that you should come back together. Why? Because you ought to avoid the temptation of the enemy, because we as human beings, we lack self-control. I have literally just quoted the Bible to you. Go and read it. Anyways, number 4 says intimacy and connection. Now, the Song of Solomon, that's Songs of Solomon. Solomon wrote a lot of things. That poetic man, he said a lot of things. So in there, you see the celebration of love and the desire between a couple, emphasizing the joy and intimacy that sexual expression brings. And it shows that for a committed relationship, please, Songs of Solomon, don't go and read it anyhow. If you are not married, don't go and be reading that book anyhow and be acting, my love. Read that book well. If you need to learn poetic substance, go and read it well. Go and, shake your husband, your wife. But please don't go and use the lines if you are not married though. Don't go and be using it anyhow. Please, let's move on. Okay, number 5, we have morality and boundaries. The Bible provides guidelines regarding sexual conduct. If you don't want this, what again do you want? Honestly, keep your bed pure. Okay, let's continue. So it emphasizes purity. It emphasizes purity and fidelity. So an example is seen in Hebrews chapter 13 verse 4, which says that let marriage be held in honor among all, and let the marriage bed be undefiled. Other versions say let the bed be pure. Okay, and this indicates that sex outside of the marriage relationship is viewed as sinful and faithful. You're being an infidel, and that's not nice. Okay, fidelity is key here. Is key. Okay, number 6, spiritual significance. In Ephesians chapter 5 verse 31 to 32, Paul likens the relationship between Christ and the church to that of a husband and wife. Now it suggests a deep spiritual significance, of the marital relationship that includes sexual intimacy. If you go and read it well, you understand something. It actually elevates the topic of caring for one another. It makes you know the importance of submission and everything. And you need that when you're having sex. You need to care for one another when you're doing that. You need to learn how to submit to your partner when you're having sex. Otherwise, people will be doing cat and dogs. We don't do cat and dogs, so please, we don't do cat and dogs. We are continuing. So the Bible regards sex very important. Honestly, God-given aspect of life that is to be expressed within the confines of marriage, serving purposes of unity, procreation, and intimacy, while also emphasizing moral conduct. This is the reason why I love using the Bible. In a normal world where people have chosen to do whatever they want to do in their minds, they can have sex anytime, any day they want. Someone actually boldly approached me the last time and asked me if I had it was actually very funny. I was trying to win this person's soul to Christ. And the person was trying to ask me how many times I have sex in a day, or like when was the last time I had sex, because as an individual we need that energy so that we can work well. Like if your mind is down and everything, you need it. And I'm like, then go and marry. As a matter of fact, you can't be asking me this question because you and I we are not in that boat. Why are you even asking me that question? Anyways, I use that as an opportunity to talk to the person about why it is important to have sex only within the confines of marriage. And I do not know how many times I'm going to mention it on this page, but I just want us to understand that sex is indeed important, and there is a reason why it carries a certain power in our relationship. But the most important thing for us to know is that sex is a gift of God unto us. Now, it is not the basis on which your marriage should work or fail. Why am I putting it this way? Hold on. Let me go back to my notes, because I wrote down a particular thing, found it. So when you have given sex too much power, and or you have tasted a lot, you don't give room for your partner to improve. It becomes the basis of your marriage, whether it's going to work or it's not going to work. And that is sad. To have sex as the determinant of whether or not your marriage will work, that is very sad. Because you ought to work together as two couples that have come together, two individuals that have come together. If you guys have to explore together, learn. If the person does not know how to have it, it's not automatic that they know how to have it. They ought to learn it. And if you, the individual, you went out, from the beginning of time, before you found Christ, or before you solidified your vows with God that you're not going to do that, you did it. And so maybe you have seen a lot, you have tasted a lot and all that, and you know how it's supposed to be or how you want it to be. The fact that your partner cannot give you that, especially the women, because I've watched a lot of movies where people were actually like calling their husbands useless or making them feel as though they were less of men because they couldn't satisfy them the way they have been satisfied before. You have to speak up and let them help you, like help them now to help you, because mind you, they think they are doing their best. And if you don't speak up, or you just like point accusing fingers at them because you know how it's supposed to be for you and they're not doing it that for you, I don't want to stretch this so much, but I want you to know that the power of sex is the power of sex in our marriages, because God has given it to us to do something, to help us procreate, and as everything I've already mentioned. But the level of power you have given to sex in your marriage, it depends on you. It depends on you, because sex is not the only thing that is going to help your relationship work or not. I am telling you, there's communication, there is trust, there is all the other aspects that you guys need to talk about and deal with. And if sex is working and the other parts are failing, honey, your marriage is still not going to work. Okay? And equally, sex is important as well. So if the other parts are working and the sex part is not working, your relationship is still going to struggle. So just pay attention to it and deal with the situation as it is. So if it is not working, why is it not working? Let's talk about it. Let's find solution. Ask for help if you need it. There are people that are expecting this. Don't come to me, I'm not an expert yet. But yes, okay, so thank you so much for joining me today. I so much enjoyed this. We're going to talk about the next topics as I mentioned from the beginning, and we're going to see them later. But I hope you did enjoy this period. If you have comments, please leave them in the comment section. I told you, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I remain your favorite YouTuber of all time. Somebody said I say YouTuber. That's what I'm saying, YouTuber today of all time. I love you, you know that. And as we say here, bisous, au revoir, bye.
I was once on the other side, know the void you feel inside. That's why I beckon you. Come the void you feel, I know it's real. Voices that promise you thrill.